whether you're ready or not. Sometimes it's rough, and it takes all that you've got, but he's been here, just waiting for you to knock. So take his hand and plant your feet on the rock. I want to live my life on the rock. I want to live my life on the rock. I want to live my life on the rock. I want to live my life on the rock. I want to live my life on the rock. I want to live my life on the rock.
G'day, mate. You're watching Life on the Rock.
Hi, welcome to Life on the Rock, and tonight we have the Catholic Daughters of the Americas on. And it's a service organization that promotes good, healthy life, Catholic life on campuses especially. We have two young people from Catholic University, but a service organization that serves the military and all over in different ways to promote the faith. So we'll be speaking to them tonight, and they'll share their zeal and faith with us. So, Doug, it's Our Lady of Sorrows, this feast day today, and you have a sword.
I have a sword.
And I'm sure that's no surprise to many of our viewers tonight.
It's a heavy sword, solid. Yeah, you know, I found this, it was just laying around the airport when I flew in. I can't imagine why, but no, but I thought I wanted to bring it on because I wanted to make a little point with this here, a point with the sword. You know, we talked recently about the Rosary rally that's going to take place in San Francisco, October 15th. The anniversary of Father Peyton, servant of God. 1961, over 500,000 people were there for that one at the Golden Gate Park. We want to promote that, encourage that again for people out there, but also there are 7,000 Rosary rallies going on that same day across America. Organization America Needs Fatima, legitimate organization. And we are sponsoring one at Camp Gargano, October 15th, this year. That's in about a month. We want to invite everybody out there to come to it who's in the region. You want to come out there for this. It's going to be prayed at noon. Each of these rallies, they pray the Rosary at noon. That's what they target because that's the closest to the miracle of the sun that took place October 13th, which is why they're doing it on the 15th, is because it's the closest to the 13th they can get. And the idea here, ladies and gentlemen, is to remember the power of the Rosary, the power of Our Lady's intercession for us. The Rosary is a weapon. And Our Lady said in one of her miracles, one of her apparitions, approved by the Church, that when we pray the Rosary, it is like a sword in her hand to cut through evil. Wah! So let's get busy. What are we waiting for? So we really encourage people to go to these Rosary rallies across the country, or contact, you know, America Needs Fatima and get one going in your area. Get out to San Francisco. They had 500,000 people for that one in 1961, ladies and gentlemen. You know, we're probably not going to get that many there this year, but we got to fill that place with as many as possible. Our world needs this, Father. You know, we talk about this all the time. That's what goes on here on our show, and EWTN in general, is to remind people the importance of the faith, but really the spiritual battle that we're in, ladies and gentlemen. We are in a battle, and there are souls at stake, and we have an opportunity to be part of that in the spiritual and the natural world with our prayers, with our sacrifices, our penances, but also with our physical presence as well. We must stand up and be that fighter and that warrior. And I want to challenge all you men out there to get busy and lead these rallies, lead the Rosary in your family. Come out to Camp Gargano, campgargano.com, campgargano.com. See the information about our Rosary rally we're doing October 15th at 12 o'clock. It's going to start at 11, have a little procession with a statue of Our Lady, and then, you know, hopefully 1,000 people or more are going to show up. We're going to pray the Rosary. We're going to get out there with the swords in hand. Spiritually, we're going to do some serious damage against that enemy that's trying to destroy our families and destroy our country. That's my little plug right there.
Right, and that does remind me, like, during a lot of the apparitions, you hear the phrase says that the Rosary is a powerful weapon or a powerful prayer for peace. And the Father Peyton rally that we did a show on talked about it as a powerful way to heal the families. Right. So peace and families. And Sister Lucia said something too very beautiful about how there's no problem that, you know, she believes that cannot be solved by the Rosary. That, not to say that, you know, it's always a pious fix. It might lead us to be very active in seeking a solution, but that grace to take action is going to be through the Rosary in a very powerful way. And, you know, today's feast day, Our Lady of Sorrows, it reminds us of her special role in redemption, right? She was at the foot of the cross where she stood there while her son was crucified, and then he gives her to John as a mother, right?
Right.
So she is there to, I preached on it today, to apply the fruits of redemption to us. You know, rooted in her motherhood, she's given, that motherhood is given over to us as this new universality, that she's a spiritual mother to us all. So, you know, that's the final act of Jesus' redemption for us, the gift of his mother to us, to help us to find him in a deeper way, right? So how can we not avail ourselves to her powerful intercession? Well,
and I know you had some great material on Our Lady of Sorrows, which is you know, such a powerful thing to remember. You know, that what Christ endured, she endured, you know, in her motherly way. You know, a woman said to me years ago, you know, when it came to Jesus dying on the cross, you know, everything that she watches her children go, this is when my children are still very small, everything she watches her children go through, she goes through herself as a mother. Our Lady would have done the same thing. And my wife had said, you know, when it comes to the piercing of the side of Christ on the cross, what mother would not feel that?
Right.
What mother would not feel that? So everything Christ endures, Our Lady endures in a very unique, powerful way as the mother. So we need to bring her into our life. We need to cling to her mantle, especially at the foot of the cross, as John did, the only apostle who was there at the foot of the cross.
And her role is unique. You know, it's a holy, singular, unique role. As John Paul II points out, as he did point out in his pontificate, that she participated in the events themselves. I love that distinction. You know, we're after the fact. Prayer and sacrifice, we can help you know, save souls. We can help grow in our own sanctification. She's there in the event itself as a mother. She has a special role that Jesus has given her. You know, he didn't have to do that. It's by God's disposition that he chose to involve her in this way. We believe in the one mediatorship of Jesus Christ, but this shows forth its power, that he can use others as he sees fit to help draw people to his church and to the kingdom. So it's a beautiful devotion. The Catholic Church has a rich faith, a rich history of devotion to our Blessed Mother, and you know, we're called to respond to that in terms of praying the Rosary, having consecrations, consecrating ourselves, our whole day, every day to her, and any kind of activity that we do. You know, and we pray here before the show and ask her intercession for every show. So,
well, and there's a great quote: "Who are we to say that we do not need the one whom God himself chose to need?" God chose Our Lady. Who are we to say that we don't need to bring her into our life when Christ himself chose to have her be that key instrument of bringing him into the world in physical form?
Okay, well, we're going to take a short little break and we'll be back with the Catholic Daughters of the Americas. So don't go away. We'll be back in a minute.
Welcome back to Life on the Rock, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Doug Barry. This is Father Mark. We are your Rock House compadres. We are prepared for battle. And we have the Catholic Daughters of the Americas here to help bind the wounds when we are struck down on the field. How are you?
Fine.
Good to have you here. Ann?
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here. And on behalf of our National Regent, Joanne Tomasi, I thank you for this opportunity.
Oh, wonderful. It's great to have you on the show. And we have Erin here and we have Chrissy, and you are both students at the Catholic University in D.C., correct?
Yes, yes, sir.
All right, wonderful, wonderful. So you are part of the Catholic Daughters of the Americas. Now, it's an organization that's been around a long time. It's founded in 1603 is what I hear. Is that correct? That's what they were telling me. Is that right?
1903.
Oh, 1903. You said that. No, I'm just kidding. Just having some fun with you all there. 1903. Why don't you tell us, Ann, a little bit about the history of the Catholic Daughters of the Americas?
Okay, we were founded in 1903 in Utica, New York, as a way for Catholic women to gather together. We began as a literary club, and we soon saw a need for service. And by the time World War I came around, we were actively involved in service in the community and in the church always. And we began with the Red Cross. Red Cross, we've been affiliated with them since the very beginning. And we assisted them in their canteens, and we provided housing for women who were coming from the country to work in the city. safe housing. And then from that, the program we have now known as the Circle of Love, which is our service-oriented program, was born and created. One of the unique things I feel about our organization is that it allows every Catholic woman to use the talents that God gave her for the good of other people. And we are 78,000 strong in 45 states, the territories of Virgin Islands, Guam, and Puerto Rico, as well as in Mexico. And so we are looking for Catholic women who are committed to their faith, committed to the church, and want to live a life of service.
Wow. Wow, that's great. Well, thanks for being on the show tonight.
You're
There you go,
welcome.
ladies and gentlemen. Catholic Daughters. I mean, that's fantastic. I mean, that's in a great little synopsis of everything laid out right there. So it's really, it's Catholic women developing their talents, their gifts, to share and to serve mankind with, to honor God and serve society.
Yes.
I mean, that's fantastic. And what prompted you to get in? How long have you been involved in it, and what prompted you to get involved in it?
That's a long story. Well, I began as a juniorette with the age of 9, and that was our very young youth component. I went into the juniors in high school, and then several days after my 18th birthday, my mother marched me, and I use the word march, into her senior court to be received as a member. I went kicking and screaming because my mother, who I thought was ancient at 52, was the youngest member of the court. And a court is what we call a local grouping. And I learned from those women what faith and ministry was all about. And the different, I've had the privilege to join 3 different courts because I'm originally from Pennsylvania and I've moved to Maryland. And each court I have gone to has taught me so much by just listening and watching those women of faith. And we call ourselves women of faith and vision because we're rooted very strongly in our faith because our spiritual development is primary. We look for the personal spiritual development in order to do the good deeds we do because without that spiritual fortification, we cannot do it. And so I came in, so I've been in since 1964.
Okay.
So 40 some years.
Wow.
And I've enjoyed every one of them.
Can you describe that connection about faith and ministry and the work, and why are the two connected?
Why not? I don't know how you can do one without the other. I mean, and be comfortable with it. I came from a Catholic school teacher. I taught many years in our Catholic schools, and then I retired for several days, and then I became a director of religious education in my parish.
What did you do for those several days? Was that, I'm just
As I told the pastor, I went home, watched my soap operas, and ate bonbons. And he knew both of those were on my no-no list because I didn't do either one. But
Did you go play golf? Or?
no, I'm not a golfer. I can't. Chasing a little ball around, no. I need big balls. I mean, I can't even get a basket in a hoop. So I mean, what am I going to do with a golf ball? But I think, in order to have the energy to do the service, you have to have a faith and a contentment that I can do this, that even when you fail, it's okay to fail, like, you know, you plan something and it just goes bust. If I know I've done my best, I've learned from that experience and I move on. And I think that's part of...
That's a great point. I know Mother Angelica spoke a lot about that on the show, about, you know, not being afraid to fail. And if you're doing it for I mean, sometimes we talk ourselves out of it because we're afraid to look bad or afraid to have a failure chalked up to our name. But if we're doing it for the Lord, right, we put it in His hands. And maybe this isn't where He's leading us. Maybe it's somewhere else, you know, some other way.
And we took kind of a gamble with, you know, campus courts. Most of us, most people look at Catholic Daughters as just an old women's organization, but that's not true. We do more than knit and make cupcakes. I mean, we are physically involved in many, many charities and many, many works. We have doctors, we have nurses, professional women, as well as the housewife.
But you do knit and make cupcakes, though?
I do not knit, no. My mother-in-law tried to teach me that and gave up.
Okay.
I do bake cupcakes. I bake a mean cupcake,
okay.
yes.
Right. So we're good with that, at least.
Yes,
okay.
yes. I should have brought some. But I would have eaten them on the way, I'm sure. But,
well, you know, you mentioned faith and service, so it makes me think what the Holy Father said recently at World Youth Day. One of his statements which touched me so much was, how can you claim to have a personal relationship with Jesus and not want to give it to the world, to not want to go out into the world with it? And so I see that as, you know, along the lines of, if we have a faith and we're on fire, you know, as the old saying that, you know, the degree with which the Holy Spirit resides in your heart is shown by the degree with which you get out there and evangelize and defend the faith and spread the faith.
And
So-
we strongly support vocations, both to the priesthood and to the consecrated life. We have several members in religious life, some of them coming from the campus courts. Campus courts are about 14 years old now. Our very first court was at Georgetown University. They are oldest, and this is our baby court. Each campus is unique unto itself. They choose, we do not dictate their charities or their work. Our program is broad enough where they can look at the women in their organization and decide to move forward.
All right. Well, speaking of women in the organization, we have these fine young ladies sitting here who are dying to get going and talk about what they're doing with their lives in the Catholic Daughters of the Americas. Erin, you are a senior.
I am.
And you are studying
I'm a theology major.
theology. So can I ask you a few questions about the faith and put you on the spot here?
I don't know about put on the spot. We've kind of learned pop quizzes, not a college student's thing.
Okay.
So.
Okay. So how many apostles were there?
12.
Very good, very good. And what was the name of the mother of Jesus?
Mary.
Very good, very good. I was
Ready to graduate.
Great, you're ready to go. Absolutely. Why did you get involved? How long ago, and why did you get involved?
I first started in 5th grade, actually. I was a juniorette, just like Anne. I only started because my sister was involved, and my mom made my sister join. So we all kind of got started that way. And then I just stuck with it through senior year of high school. I became treasurer of the junior court and eventually president of the junior court. And I'm still involved with my mom's court at home, our adult court. But I couldn't join that because I was at school. But now I'm starting our own little baby court.
Baby court, so it's the youngest one of all the courts right now.
Yes.
At the university. How many members are in it?
Currently there's 21 active members, but we're going to be installing around 40 in 2 weeks, actually.
40 additional?
Yes, 40 additional. So we'll be up around 60 members.
My goodness, all from the same university?
Yep, all from Catholic. They range from freshmen up to seniors. Our biggest grouping is actually freshmen and sophomores.
And what do you do to encourage them to consider joining and to get them to join?
I think we've taken a very laid-back approach. We don't go out and seek members. We really want them to come to us. And actually at our meeting last Sunday, we had standing room only, and that's just by word of mouth. We have a Facebook and a Twitter, and we've had great support from the college as well, from campus ministry and from the Office of Campus Activities. So it's really just been word of mouth, I think.
Yep. Wow. And also the Knights of Columbus are really prevalent on our campus. So they kind of, put the Catholic Daughters of America along with the Knights and say, oh, well, we got the the female organization.
Okay. And Chrissy, you're a sophomore, correct?
Yes.
And you're studying what?
Early childhood education.
Child education. So we could ask you questions about the faith as well, because you're going to be educating children.
Sure.
Okay. So if I were to ask you if you could name the 10 commandments backwards from 10 to 1, first the evens and then the odds, and do it in 30 seconds or less, that wouldn't be a problem, would it?
Of course not.
Oh, look, we're almost out of time. We're going to have to cut to a break here in a moment. So instead of that, let's ask you, the different events and activities that go on in your court on campus, what sorts of things do you do then with the different members?
All right, well, because we are just starting up, we have a plan to have one service opportunity and one faith-based opportunity per semester on our with our organization. And right now, again, we're just in the process of deciding what those will be. We want to have maybe like a retreat on our campus for the daughters, and then also some sort of faith-based service-based one, maybe team up with Habitat for Humanity or one like that already established.
Yeah, that was something you mentioned before the show, Anne, is that the Catholic daughters are out there building houses.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, framing the whole 9 yards.
Oh yes, we go in with our gray hair and our hammers. Yes.
Yeah, get the tool belts on.
I like to do roofs.
Really?
I'm a roofer.
You like roofs?
I love carrying those shingles up and put them on the roof.
Will you throw them over the whole pack over your shoulder?
No, I do half a pack or a third.
Oh, okay.
No. No, I learned that from my husband, his father was a builder, and we built a garage in our previous home. And in order to talk to my husband, I had to be where he was, and so I did cement work as well as roofing. So.
In order to talk to him.
Yeah, I mean, yes. You go where you have to go.
Right. That works well. So
yes.
But the Knights of Columbus do have a connection to this back in the history and the roots, correct?
Yes, they do, yes. And we work very closely, even as the adult groups. We call them the senior groups. We support each other our goals are the same, just to get the message out of what it is to be a Catholic, and we have strong devotion of the Blessed Mother. Rosary is a very important part of our program.
In fact, the Catholic Daughters had something to do with Father Peyton.
Yes.
Back in his day,
in the
Rosary,
very early years.
Yeah,
yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
yes.
And so they've been involved in to some degree with helping promote this new rally.
It's one of our
rally that's taking place in
yes,
October.
the daughters in California and Oregon and Washington are very active there.
Right. Which, in case anybody's wondering why I'm carrying the sword tonight, it's because of the Rosary Rally that's coming up in October 15th. Over 7,000 across the country, including this key one, the celebration anniversary of Father Peyton, who's known for the phrase, "The family that prays together stays together." But the Catholic Daughters were there back then, 50 years ago, helping out with that one as well.
And I grew up with that phrase, "The family that prays together stays together." And as I was growing up and dating, if the date came early, he was on his knees as well. So they learned the second date they were late.
If they showed up at the right time, then you knew they were a good quality man.
Yes.
I'm going to show up early so I can pray that rosary
Yes.
with you. All right.
Yes.
Well, we're going to take a break, ladies and gentlemen. Again, the family that prays together stays together. Rosary Rally is coming up October 15th. The rosary is a sword in the hand of the Blessed Mother to cut through evil when we are faithful in praying it. That's why the sword is with us tonight. And the Catholic Daughters of Americus as well. So don't go away. We'll be back after this. If you do leave, we're going to find you, and we're armed. Back after this. We're back, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, I have a sword. I feel so at home with a sword in my hand. Anyway.
I'm surprised it's taken you 2 years to finally bring one.
I know. We're going to get this up on the set somewhere, hopefully. But wait to see a show in a couple of weeks we got coming up. I got something for you then. But seriously, back to the program here. I mean, Catholic Daughters of Americus. That's who we're with, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry not to reintroduce myself. Doug Barry, Father Mark, and we have Ann, Aaron, and Chrissy. You are from the Catholic University in Washington, D.C. And you're a big wig in the organization, aren't you?
I'm National Region Elect, yes.
Wow.
August 19th, I will assume leadership, yes.
You're going to be in charge.
Yes, yes.
Now, are you killing off the one in charge right now? I mean, how do you just step up like that? I mean, what happens? Is this like a Roman thing?
No, she mentors
out,
so well. Joanne Tomasi. No, I don't. Joanne is a great mentor, preparing me for my job. I've been on the board about 14 years. Wow. So as we journey along, we get new experiences.
See, these sorts of things I think are fantastic, and I love bringing them up and talking about them. Because there are so many people out there that don't realize that these things are going on, that these organizations, and have been there for a long time. It's very easy to get discouraged when we look at our society and we see all the breakdown of family and all the things that are out there that are so destructive. We talk about that. I bring it up in my presentations when I'm out speaking live. You know, I'll talk about the struggles and the battle that's out there. But in any battle, you've got good against evil, and this is an expression of the good. And it's so important to make these things known so others out there can know that there are things like this that they can join, but also it gives them hope. I mean, and hope is critical. And to see a couple of young ladies here who have committed, and from 5th grade, your heart was on fire and ready to go as your mother made you join. Had to throw that in there. Did you really did you want to join at the beginning at all? Was it just kind of a nice social thing to do, and then did something take root? And what has happened to your heart? Let's get to the meat and the depth of it. Really tell us.
I guess
the inside now.
I guess it was sort of that I wanted to do it, and also my friends had joined, so it really was a social thing. But I guess since I did keep up with it for so long and ended up being a theology major at Catholic, I guess it did really light a fire somewhere. And I've always loved to serve people and wanted to give back to the community because I've been given so much over the years, and being able to give back, whether that's through bake sales we've done or clothing drives or building houses, I think just being able to give back is really important. And we try and do that through our leadership too. It's not, this is what you're doing. It's really servant leadership, and it's what do you guys want to do? And we vote on everything as our court, the service projects we do and everything, because it's about the girls growing in their personal life as well. It's not just the officers saying this is what we're doing because we want it this way.
And right now, you've got viewing parties going on all over the university.
We do.
All over America, in fact, I'm sure, knowing that you're on.
Yes.
And I just want a special message to all you Catholic daughters of the Americas out there very seriously is, God bless you and good job. I think back to what you said, Ann, about the early years, rolling bandages for the soldiers in World War I, way back then when things began in the 1900s, all the way through to where we're at today. And that kind of service is so critical. The soldier's on the battlefield fighting hard, and he's wounded, and that soldier needs care. And we need to be caring for one another in the spiritual battles that we all fight. And organizations like this, and you ladies out there watching that are part of the Catholic Daughters, God bless you and keep it up. And my sword to you. There you go. But I think it's fantastic. I do. I really think, and it's very, very, very critically important that we encourage other young ladies to really step up and take a look at organizations like this and see if it's something God is calling them to take part in some way.
What are some of the future projects you have planned, like this coming school year?
Well, this coming school year, we are planning on going to Mass together as a court weekly, whether that's through a Mass that the university offers or through our own Mass time that we set up. And we want to definitely do a service event because the school is working to doing 125,000 hours of service this year in honor of the 125 years being open as a community. So we're really working towards that. And as a court, we're going to pledge to do 125 hours of service. So whether we go and build houses with Habitat for Humanity, and we're going to do soup kitchens, and really link up with some of the campus ministry events that happen weekly. There's one every day. So even if the girls, like if we all can't go as a court, if 3 girls can go to some, which is so others may eat, and go work at a soup kitchen. So really just become pivotal members of the community in terms of service and showing Christ's love and faith throughout.
How would you all describe the effect it's had on your own personal faith life? I know we've talked about the faith motivating us to serve, but also when you get out there and serve, it helps to build your faith up. Have you all experienced that? Has that helped you?
I've definitely grown in my spirituality through Catholic Daughters and through other things that I do on campus. And I think I've learned to make it more personal sometimes. I get caught up in the giving back and I forget to make things personal. So being able to find 5 minutes during a service project to pray and remember that God is with us and Christ is there, I think is really how I've grown.
Yeah. I just think that's such a key shift, in terms of thinking of giving back. I think it's just fundamental to the Christian vocation, right? It's not just about me and God. It's not just about my own personal growth, but it's also, we make that shift of how can I serve in the kingdom? What can I do? I think that's when our Christian maturity really takes off.
Christy, how about you? What prompted you to get involved in the beginning? And now that you've been in for, the time that you've been in, how has it affected you and changed you?
Well, I've always had a really strong faith life, but it's always been really personal for me. So becoming involved in Catholic Daughters has been good to kind of get out and do service, work with others in my community. I come from a family, that prays every Sunday, I've prays every day, church every Sunday, and I've been able to bring that to school with me, which I think is really nice. Not a lot of people are able to do that, and so I kind of want to, encourage others to do the same, but I like that Catholic Daughters is a very service-filled organization where we can just go out in the community and help others there. Right.
But as Father mentioned, this is something that we've got to be challenged inside as well. And the outward service is so important, but as the great spiritual masters would say, there needs to be a deep prayer life first, and religious action can oftentimes be even a distant second. What does Catholic Daughters do to help promote a deep prayer life or a deep personal spiritual life for people?
Well, each court has a chaplain, and they are very important to the court. They are the support system to the court. They provide the spiritual needs, and we have some great court chaplains that just give so much of their time, and using our motto of unity and charity, I kind of like enjoy, because we put Jesus first, others, and then ourselves in all our works. But our chaplains are so important to us because they're our guides. They're the ones that we can go to when we struggle, and they will even be our rock in storms, or even the person who will say, whoa, back off and let's try it a little slower. So I think, you know, they are so important. Any court that has a really strong chaplain is really blessed. And my particular court happens to be blessed with a very strong chaplain.
All right. Now you two were nodding your head on some of what she was saying. You care to expound on that a little bit?
We love our court chaplain. It's Father Frank Jonio, who's also chaplain to the Knights of Columbus, which really helps with that relationship. But he is there for us 24 hours, 7 days a week, and he's just really in touch with the court. He has a Facebook and a Twitter, and he will stop everything and drop everything to talk to us, whether it's we have a personal problem, a spiritual problem, or they just want to catch up with us. He's really always been there to help us grow in our faith. So.
What have been some of the tougher things for you as college students to overcome? You know, as you're growing in your faith and as you're doing this service work, what sorts of things have been a challenge for you?
For me, it's definitely been finding a service opportunity because I know schedules are really busy, and I was able to make prayer life kind of a daily exercise for myself, whether it be, you know, half-hour mass at the Basilica or just like a small time during the day to pray. But definitely the service is a big part of that.
Right, right. How about you, Erin?
I think kind of going off of that, I've always been very busy throughout college, so finding that time to really be able to sit down and pray and reflect on everything we're doing has been one of the things that I've had to overcome. But then, like, looking back on 4 years, being involved in all this service has really been that time that I can see myself and see my faith in action. So.
Right, right.
What you were telling about some of your meetings just standing room only. What has been the attraction? Because college students are busy, got pressures. Why do they come, you think?
Or is it just a small room?
We have a lot of fantastic faith-based organizations on campus, and I think it's really just been finding what's right for you and trying out the different things. So to see something new on campus and a new faith organization, I think the ladies on campus have been able to see, is this for them? Is this an opportunity that I can take up in? So it's kind of finding your niche throughout your 4 years. And I think that's why our freshman sophomore population is so big.
But is it just word of mouth? Is it, you know, the Facebook, things like this that helps invite them to come? Or is it free food? I mean, what is it that you're putting on the table?
Actually, we've yet to have free food at an event, which is interesting because normally at college events, if you say the word food, people show up. But we have yet to say that word, so I think we're doing quite well on our own.
You're saving that.
We're saving that for later, yeah.
To really increase the numbers.
Yes, increase the number.
You have men wanting to sign up for it then at that point. It's a free buffet. Right.
And I think the campus courts on our secular colleges is a place, when we establish our campus courts there, it's a place where the young ladies can really grow in their own faith. University of Maryland has shirts that say Catholic Terps. And I love watching the Maryland basketball games. I don't understand the game itself, but I watch for those shirts. They are proud to wear that. And I think the organization allows them that, I don't know, maybe a safety net is not the word I want, but it's a place where they can be Catholic and be with people who think like they do.
Right. And
not be put down or not be made fun of. I mean, in the University of Maryland and College Park, Maryland has a Roman week that counteracts the Greek week, where, you know, the sororities and fraternities go bonkers. They provide other activities that are alcoholic-free and more morally correct, and that is a big challenge on that campus. So we were at Baylor. You know, again, we never thought we'd be there, and here we are, in Baylor, and.
I think it speaks of that natural desire young people especially have for service, to get out there and do something, and to tap into that, and I think that. I think the theme we keep talking about, but I think that helps them to strengthen their faith. Sometimes it's faith first and service, but also sometimes the service can pull us into our faith in a deeper way.
Yeah, that's so true. I mean, there's always that, it always feels good to give. As my mom would say to me, when you're struggling with your own problems, think about someone else's problems and try to help them, and helps put things in proper perspective. And so by getting out and serving others, it can, that can be the draw that brings us deeper. Now, you said there was a connection in the early years of Catholic daughters to Queen Isabella.
Daughters of Isabella.
Yeah,
yes.
Touch on that a little bit.
That was our original name when we were founded with John Carberry. We were Daughters of Isabella, and we were modeled. And our organization is modeled very similar to the Knights of Columbus. Our rituals are very similar. Our goals are very similar. But along the way, the way they wanted us to form our organization, the women of that time differed. We wanted to be more service-oriented out into the community where they wanted us just to work with them. And so when our ladies in Connecticut, in New York, and Pennsylvania, and across the United States, it grew rather rapidly in those early years, really needed to step out and took that risk, you know, of starting on our own as Catholic Daughters of America. And then when we expanded into Mexico, we took the title of the Americas.
Okay.
So.
And do you have much in Canada?
Not yet, no. Daughters of Isabella are very strong there.
Is it a goal?
Yes.
Is it?
As a matter of fact, when I get home, I'll be calling a young man in British Columbia who is a knight who is pursuing the Catholic Daughters for the women on his the ladies on his campus. He's the one that has the time.
Now, when you say he's a knight who is pursuing the women on the campus, that could be misunderstood.
Oh, yes, I didn't mean that.
I want to clarify the way that came out. He's a knight. He's pursuing the women on the campus. Ah, I see what you mean.
Wrong preposition there.
I see what you try. Okay, to help the organization.
Yes.
Got it. Right. Understood.
Catholic school teacher.
There you go. Okay. Well, when it comes to involvement, how much time is necessary? Because for those out there thinking about joining, you got women out there who are thinking, yeah, maybe I'll check this out. Concerned about commitment, time commitment. You know, what's it involve?
Well, we have a meeting twice a month, and they run about half an hour to 45 minutes, depending upon what we have to talk about. So it's just coming to those meetings, the service day, which is probably about 12 hours, and the retreat all day, and then just Mass once a week. That's all we require of you, but hopefully the girls will be more involved with us, and we're going to have like meals together and just a lot of community bonding time as well.
So one meeting once a month?
Two meetings a month for an hour.
A month for an hour.
Roughly, yeah.
That's not much. And then a service project in there.
And the retreat.
And a retreat. And then in some courts it's Mass, some courts it's not.
Some courts, yeah. We're attempting to get Mass off.
Now, is that pretty standard for all courts, that kind of a setup for time commitment, or is it vary from court to court?
The senior courts meet once a month.
Okay.
We meet once a month, and a lot of times, you know, some of them will meet a second time for social activities, but once a month is usually it. And we ask the members to commit to at least one project during the course of the year. We don't, you know, with women as busy as they are now, being just a retired person, I didn't realize I had time to work, you know, so.
All that golf.
Yeah, oh, yes, all the golf, yes. So we ask them, you know, when they join, we don't say you have to do everything all the time. You do the thing that makes you feel comfortable, that brings you a sense of fulfillment or a sense of accomplishment. And by and by, they'll get more involved.
Right.
And that's what we ask our campus courts to do, to find something that will draw the Catholic young women in, and then use their talents and their skills to spread the message even more.
Right.
Because my goal is to have a Catholic daughter court in every parish. I would really like to see that, because in every parish where Catholic daughters are located, the pastors will tell you we're the right arm of the pastor. We do a lot of the service work, a lot of the behind the scenes work. So.
And you can demand that because you're going to be in charge real soon. So you can say.
I don't demand anything. I work with a board of 14 other people that have to approve.
Take the sword and go demand it, Ann.
Okay.
All right. We're going to run to a break now, ladies and gentlemen, so don't go away. We'll be back with a little bit more from the Catholic Daughters of the Americas and the sword. Back after this. We're back, ladies and gentlemen, for the last segment of Life on the Rock for this particular show, this particular day. And if you're watching right now, good for you. Sword in hand, because we're talking about the Rosary a little bit. Rosary Rally coming up October 15th. Going to mention that again one more time before the show's over. We have the. Yeah, it is a real sword. It's a. Well, we'll talk about that. The Catholic Daughters of America here, founded in 1903. you got history, you got roots. I love the book that you showed us before the show. All the old pictures of the grand, glorious people who never looked like they smiled back in that time. Nobody was happy back then. Nobody in the old days. Of course, they had to hold the pose for several minutes as a picture was taken. That's probably why. You just can't do that for very long and have it look natural.
But they gave us big footprints to step into.
I love that. That's a great way to put it. Big footprints to step into. So it's another organization of the Catholic faith that has been built on the shoulders of giants that have gone before you.
Yes.
You gotta love that.
Each national regent has left her unique mark on the Catholic Daughters. One particular regent had a campaign where we paid for the 5 glorious mysteries at the National Shrine. We helped put the chapel into we paid for some of the chapel at the Bishop's meeting house at the center there. So we've had large commitments, and that was $1 a member for many, many years to supply that.
I'm glad you brought that up, Ann, because that's something we need to make, I think, mention to people out there. The Knights of Columbus are like that as well, and as you said, they're very structured very similarly. You know, sometimes you hear that all the Knights do is, you know, make pancakes and sell Tootsie Rolls, and all the daughters do is probably, you know, bake muffins and play golf or whatever it might be. When really there's a lot of behind-the-scenes stuff that you're unsung heroes. You know, you think of the 4D ultrasound machines that the Knights of Columbus are giving to, you know, crisis pregnancy centers and such to help save lives. Things like you mentioned about the shrines that are built up for great and wonderful, veneration and love for our faith that the daughters are behind doing. And I know it's not about bragging. It's not about look at all the great things we do. But there's a lot of unsung heroes, aren't there?
Yes, there are.
That have lived, breathed, laughed, wept, and died, and have stood before God and have given their lives in a service, like I think of the women of Jerusalem, you know, following Christ or being there to help serve the apostles as well.
I just think of my mother. I mean, she was my example, quietly going about, you know, the things she had to do in a way that didn't make it look like work. When I became a housework wife myself, it's like, wait a minute, this is work. Mom didn't make it look this way. But and that's who we are, just doing, as Mother Teresa says, the little things. You know, that we do with love. And when you have love, you can certainly do that. And our newest step into the unknown is our military courts.
Yes.
At the United States Naval Academy on February the 11th of this year, we instituted the first court with a military feel to it. And when asked why she wanted Catholic Daughters, they too they had many spiritual exercises within the academy, but they wanted something that would be just for the women, that they would feel comfortable with, and be able to serve not only at the academy, but to take that faith and learn how to use it in their military careers, no matter where they go. If it's in the air, on the sea, or below the sea, those midshipmen will be Catholic Daughters for life. And it was really a joy to be called ma'am all the time. And when you entered the room, everybody got up. But they were a real, as all the campus courts are, a real jolt to the church is in good hands. The church is in good hands now, and they will be in good hands in the future.
And we were going to have some of the members on, but we couldn't get that.
But because of their scheduling
out.
conflicts, it was impossible.
Right,
so.
right.
But they do send their best wishes.
And that just began in February, you said?
Yes. So Court Our Lady of Lourdes, on our Feast of Our Lady of Lourdes.
Beautiful. So it'll be growing, I'm sure.
Oh, it has been just for the past year. Yes.
Yeah. How many members roughly? Do you know?
They're well over 60.
Wow, that's fantastic.
Yes.
So this organization just keeps boogie woogieing down the line, keeps growing.
We hope so.
Not a very spiritual term, I know. Boogie woogieing, but makes
from the 70s?
It's from the 70s, the disco era. Strike down the disco era.
Please.
Yes, please do, and bell bottoms. So again, the unsung heroes, I wanted to touch on that again because this is something I think of my wife and everything that she has done for me. I mean, what an amazing woman that I've been so blessed to be married to, and how my daughter is learning from her, and my daughter now helps me in the office and you know, takes care of a lot of my bookings and such, and she's just an incredible young lady. Just seeing there's a certain spirit that women have. There's a certain, it's that maternal something that God has given you. Just as men have the spirit to protect and walk around with swords in their hands, you know, and defend and provide, which is really a large part of our spirituality as men, there's something about the nurturing aspect of a woman, isn't there, Ann?
Yes,
That is just, it's integral to who you are as a woman. Now, what do you, as someone who's been around longer,
Long time.
how do I say that?
A long time, 45 years.
There you go. But I mean, when you've got the younger generation here, how do you pass that on when it comes to that key part about that integral maternal aspect of a woman, as a Catholic woman? What would you say to the world watching and listening right now? How important that is to share that?
You have to be content with who you are as a woman. I like being a woman. I was raised in a household where, you know, you be the best you can be at whatever you can be. And I think the Catholic Daughters allows that feminine side of me to come out with the service. And I know I couldn't do what I do without my husband. I mean, there are many a night when I would plop a baby in his arms and say, "Goodbye, hon." He'd come in from work, a baby would go in his arm, dinner's in the oven, I'm off to the Catholic Daughters. And he would just patiently smile, as he still does now, carrying my suitcases and things like that. So we have that support as well. But I think be content with who you are as a woman. And being as a woman, we are a very pro-life organization.
Yeah.
We have been attending the Right to Life March since the very beginning. We attend the Mass at the cathedral, or the basilica, which is a really awesome thing. When it takes 45 minutes for the priests, deacons, bishops, and all to walk in, that is a powerful statement.
The Vigil Mass?
Yes, and the Vigil Mass. And then to see all the young people at the march and to interact with them, that gives me the enthusiasm to keep the fight going, to keep the...
Now, when you say to be content as a woman, I have to ask the young ladies, our culture, our world today does not say that. Our culture says you ladies need to be powerful, and you need to be out there, and you need to be dominant, and you need to be telling men, you know, giving them what for, and telling them who they are, where they should be in the back seat.
Me?
No.
My husband would
No, I was going
say.
to say, when I talked to your husband before, he said, "Oh no, that's not her at all." No, but that you know, it's a contradictory message to what the world is saying. To be content with what God gave you as a woman. How do you take that, Chrissy?
Well, you have to be comfortable in your own skin before you can even go out and, you know, help the world. So starting with yourself, I think, is a good place to, you know, begin. And you can do that through faith, through service, through this whole community aspect of Catholic Daughters.
Because I can see how easily it is for a young girl in school, grade school, high school, and then a young woman in college to fall prey, even in Catholic colleges, if the Catholic faith is not there, and the understanding and the prayer life and the sacramental life is not there, you know, that comfortableness in your own skin can be a disordered skin, if you could look at it that way, I suppose. So really there has to be, as you mentioned with your faith, that has to be the formation, doesn't it, Aaron? I mean, what would you say to the young ladies out there who might be hearing this and feeling that challenge within themselves? Yeah, but as a woman, I feel like I want to go out and be like a man. I want to be a firefighter. I want to be a police officer. And, I mean, or whatever field it's in. And I'm not criticizing any of those things, but there is an attitude in the world that says, you know, you're as good as a man, you can be like a man, when that's not what you're created to be. So how do you speak to that to the women out there?
I think it's just being able to, like Chrissy said, balance. You still can do all of those things, you know, be a firefighter, be a police officer, but also remembering that you are faithful in service and you will never be a man. And I think that's important to remember, that you can do anything that men can, but at the same time, like, you can be faithful and you can be in a community of women and really learn from each other. I think that's what Catholic Daughters does.
That's a whole nother show I'd love to get into.
But also,
we just don't have time right now for it.
But also act out, God created you to be a woman, so you have to live that out as well.
I love that. You know, my wife and I look at it as, you know, you got the man, you got the woman, and when we contradict God's order, we do a lot of this. We butt heads. But when we just accept what God has made us to be, we complement each other, and we come together like this. And like this, you can be pulled apart. But like this, it's almost impossible to. You know, I get a couple of teenagers on each arm try to pull that hand apart, and it doesn't come apart. Like this, yeah, they're going to pull it apart. So when we as men and women recognize the roles and the gifts that God has given us, and how we complement, and like you said, just be comfortable with what God has made us to be, wow. Wow. I mean, the incredible things that we can do in this world are unbelievable, aren't they?
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
I think that brings out a good point too about being, the Catholic daughters of the Americas. That, as women together, and has that character of the feminine, the maternal service to it. And John Paul II, praised that so much and was trying to stir that kind of movement because he said the world needs it. It needs, especially, he said women had this great sensitivity to the human person, as you mentioned, the pro-life issues that you all are involved in, and the charism of being bearers of peace, of bringing peace in the world. And I think, in a women's organization, that really comes to the forefront. So
a great point, Father. And do you ever discuss much or bring Fulton Sheen's writings or works into your meetings? Because I love the things that he has said about women, how civilizations could be written largely based on the quality of the woman. That men are noble if a woman is noble. The nobler a woman, the nobler a man will be. That men make or break men. You hold our hearts right there in the palms of your hands, and you can, with a look of your eyes and a tone of your voice, as your husband I'm sure knows, Ann. I know.
I learned that from my mother.
All it is a look and a tone of the voice, and we men, huh? What? Or else I can take on the world. And all because my wife believes in me, or she can crush me by not believing in me. But that's a powerful thing for women. And John Paul II, again, the feminine genius, that he speaks of, the power of a woman, the beautiful creation of the woman is an unbelievable work of art.
Yes, it is.
It is. Any last closing thoughts you'd like to say, Chrissy, to the millions of people out there watching and listening right now?
Well, we just want to definitely thank the Catholic University of America for giving us this opportunity to come on EWTN and talk about Catholic Daughters of America, because that in itself is just an accomplishment for me anyway. And I don't know.
I also wanted to thank the Campus Ministry and the Office of Campus Activities for all the support they've been giving us throughout these past couple months that we've worked to get this court started. And of course, our family and friends who have, I think, put up with us is a very good word through the stress and all the paperwork. But yes, so thanking everyone for all their support and help, especially Anne, who's really been pivotal in getting this court off the ground for us.
Awesome, wonderful, fantastic. Anne, how about you? Any closing things, encouragements, challenges, call to arms out there for the ladies? Now that we're going to be dubbing you the knight, the head of the organization very soon here.
Big Mahoff, as my husband says.
Big Mahoff, there you go.
I just would like to invite every Catholic woman out there who wants to use the talent she has to search out the Catholic Daughters, and www.catholicdaughters.org is our website.
Good.
And our executive director will be happy to ship any information out, as well as campus ministers out there or students on campuses. If you want to follow in these girls' footsteps, I encourage you to contact the national office, and you'll be getting a phone call and maybe even a visit from me, because it's well worth your time. I think it's a gift you give yourself.
Wonderful.
Yes.
Great statement there. And again, the website is?
www.catholicdaughters.org.
catholicdaughters.org. All right, ladies and gentlemen, there you have it, Catholic Daughters of America. And I also want to let you all remember why I have the sword in my hand on this show, because we are promoting the Rosary rallies taking part October 15th across America, over 7,000. Particularly the one in San Francisco, the anniversary of Father Patrick Peyton, servant of God, 1961, over 500,000 showed up for that. We're doing one at Camp Gargano. Come to my website, campgargano.com, and join us October 15th for a Rosary rally in the Lincoln, Nebraska area. Father, send us out on a good note.
Our Heavenly Father, shine His face upon you and give you His peace, and may Almighty God bless you, the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit. We'll see you next week.
All right.